Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Carla Palmer Show. You guys, we're back for another episode. Happy Sunday to you. I hope you've had a wonderful Sunday. Mine started off well at church and then kind of got a little rocky. Went to the gym and had a little back issue and couldn't finish my workout. And as many of you know, fitness is my life. I absolutely love to work out. So that was a bit of a bummer. But that's okay. You always have to, look at the bright side of things, and I can move my arms and move my legs and my back is going to get better. So I was able to walk on the treadmill and all as well. So happy Sunday again. We got a really great show in store for you guys. But first, I want to just welcome you to the Carla Palmer Show, where we bring you topics that will help you level up in wellness. We believe in all areas of wellness on this show because we like to take a holistic approach to living our best life. You can't just focus on fitness. You can't just focus on nutrition. You can't just focus on relationships. Like all of these things and spirituality, all of these things are interconnected, right? So if you think about the different dimensions of wellness, you have environmental wellness, emotional, spiritual, social, physical, intellectual, and occupational, which is financial health. When you look at all of those things, they all inform each other. And so on the Carla Palmer Show, a topic that we bring on is going to relate to one of those areas of wellness. So today we're going to be talking about college access. Yes, we're going to be talking about college access today. I want to show my face so you guys can see me. Hello, I am Carla Palmer. I am your host. Welcome again. And I want to bring on our guest so you guys can get an opportunity to meet our guest. Our guest is here. Hi, Yolanda.
Hi, Carla.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. I'm sorry to hear about your back.
I know. Thank you so much. It's going to be okay. We're going to try that acupuncture that you suggested, and hopefully that will do something for me. Welcome to the guests. You guys, thank you so much for being here. The guests who have come in the room to watch the broadcast. I appreciate you guys being here. Yolanda and I do. So I want to introduce Yolanda. Today, we're going to be talking about, like I said, college access and what she does to help families and students in particular get into some of the great colleges that they like to attend. So I want to just read a little bit about Yolanda. She and I know each other from a while ago. We used to work together and we've remained in contact and remained friends. And so it's just nice to be able to, work together, and then it evolved into something that's much more than just a professional relationship. We've been on some hikes together, and she's just a really lovely lady. We both also went to UC Berkeley, so we have that in common as well. That's always nice to find another cow bear. So I just want to introduce her. I'm going to read her bio. So Yolanda Wright is the executive director and founder of Focus One College. She received her Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology from the University of California, Berkeley, and Master of Arts degree in psychology from Pepperdine University Graduate School of Education and Psychology. She founded Focus One College to equip students with the necessary educational and psychological social support to increase competitiveness in the college admission and scholarship application process. She has helped students receive admission into top universities such as UCLA, UC Berkeley, USC, and NYU, to name a few. Her students have also received admission into highly selective majors such as the Interactive Media and Games Division at USC and College of Creative Studies in Physics at UC Santa Barbara. Yolanda, that's pretty impressive. That is pretty impressive. Like I was saying before, I wanted to bring this topic on. People may say, "Oh, what does that have to do with wellness?" Mm-hmm. I can tell you firsthand how this has to do with wellness. As a mom who just, has a son who just graduated from high school last year, and we went through this whole process. It's a very stressful process. It can be. And the reason why I wanted to bring you on is because it doesn't have to be. Mm-hmm. It is a lot of work, but it doesn't have to be as stressful as it was for some of us. So I want to start off by, introducing your organization or your company. What's the name of it? It's
Focus One College.
Focus One College, mm-hmm. And exactly what it is that the service that you provide.
Well, I provide individualized service with students to help them become highly competitive in the college admissions process. But I do take a holistic approach. I really encourage families to start early, around the 8th or 9th grade, because it's really important to determine what are the students' skills, what are their passions, what makes them tick, what makes them happy, because we need the students' buy-in. I think we get so consumed with the college application process, elite colleges, and we lose our kids. Stats show that only 40% of undergrads will get a college degree in 4 years, and only 60% in 6 years. So pretty much half our students who start college, who apply, who are eligible, who are deserving to be there, they don't make it. Why is that? I think there are several reasons. I mean, one being financial, one being our students aren't academically prepared, not for the content, but the pace of college. College is different, and we have to prepare our kids to get prepared for the pace. And also life skills. I think sometimes we lose that in the process, and sometimes parents will intervene and take on certain parts of the college application process because it's a high stakes game now. So many families want to get their kids into the best colleges. I understand that. But we have to take a step back and we have to ask those questions of what's best for your child. And, when I sit with my students, it's already assumed they have to get great grades and test scores. But I ask them what makes them happy. And sometimes I'll get a side eye from a family or a parent because they ask the question, is happiness going to get them into the best college? Is happiness going to get them the best job? My philosophy is yes, because the more we can get the student to buy into their own education, the more we're going to get better results regarding college and career. Because so many students, when they get to the campus, they don't even know really what they want to do or their career. And a degree is not necessarily going to get you a career and a job.
So how did you, when did you realize that you could provide this service?
I think when I started to see many families and students who were at that point of being accepted into college and seeing a lot of students having to turn even offers down because they couldn't, they finally got their financial scholarship award packet and they realized they couldn't afford it. There was so much information that I had, and I would look at the students and think, why didn't they apply to schools A, B, and C? They have a limited view of what colleges to apply to, of what kind of the branding, the brand name colleges. And I would know right off the bat, I said, why didn't they apply to, Wellesley College, in Boston? Wellesley College would have loved a student like that and would probably have given them a full ride. But instead, they applied to colleges that they knew, and they didn't get a lot of money, especially when you're talking about middle-income families. Middle-income families are not going to really get a lot of money from the state schools because,
no, we're not.
Relatively speaking, state schools are affordable. But nowadays, nothing is really affordable in regards to education. Education is very expensive across the board, but the state schools have to reach out to many more students. They can't give as much to each individual student. Income families don't do very well in state schools, but private schools, like small liberal arts colleges that cost twice as much, $70,000, $75,000, $80,000, are much more generous for lower to middle income families, but most of our families don't know about those options. So when I started to see it, I realized that I had so much information, so much knowledge to share with families, and that's what led me to creating my own program for students to give them options.
So how did you gain the knowledge that you have?
I have a love for it, a passion for it. And I think for most families, sometimes I'm surprised when I sit with families. I sit with some families where the parents both have graduated from college, highly educated. They don't know the things that the information I provide, they're not aware of it. It's such a high stakes game now. It's become very complicated, the college admissions process and matching your child to colleges because of the cost. Also, it's so much more expensive than when we went to college. So if you want your child to get matched to the college that's going to, basically, we want the college to roll out the red carpet for our kids, because if they don't have that experience, then they accumulate this debt. And so I'm a firm believer in not setting our kids up to accrue that type of debt.
Yeah.
So when we talk to students about their dream college, I let them know your dream college is the college that's going to give you a full ride. That's your dream college. So keep your mind open, because we don't know what that college is yet.
Yeah.
So it's different than when we came up in applying to college.
Yeah. It's interesting because I hope that I have this feedback. My son was upset with me when he was on his way out of transitioning from high school to college and doing all of his applications. And I told him, I said, one of the things that I'm not going to do, because I am a middle income earner and I haven't been able to save thousands and thousands of dollars for him to go to school. And I set him up. I thought I was setting him up. This was my dream for him. We went to summer school all the time, made sure he was ahead in math. I STEM tracked him because math and science, he was very strong in that. And so my thing was, we don't have a lot of money, but you've got the brain and you've got the ability to not write a ticket, but, put yourself in a very competitive position because you're an African-American male, you do play sports, you're a scholar athlete, like you've got everything that you need to get into a college and to have one of these colleges roll out the red carpet for you. And that just wasn't his desire. He went through the programs, he did his, stints at UCLA in the summer, residential programs in engineering and science and math. And he did not want to do that. He wanted to go to like a Howard, like an HBCU and, maybe like get something like a major kind of in music or something like that. And I'm like, dude, I'm not racking up college debt for you. That was not the plan. And so he's now at a community college, but he was upset with us, his dad and I for a while, because we were saying, we're not going to get in debt for you. And we're not going to let you, I don't even know if kids can, but we're not going to let you take that kind of loan out for yourself. And now he's like, okay, I'm good. I understand. But it took almost a year of him being in community college, a couple semesters, to understand, like, I didn't even really know what I wanted to do. And I was about to, sign off on all those loans and stuff.
But see, I would take a different perspective on that. And I think that whatever his passions were and what he really loved to do, I think that, if I would have worked with him early on, I would have tapped into that. Like, what are those things? If music is his passion, if he has an interest for HBCUs, and I think we would have geared him in a different direction in regards to his 4-year plan. Yeah. We kind of geared activities around those things so that when he got to the level of application, that possibly we could have got him a little bit better scholarship offer. Yeah. It's about matching. Yeah. We can't match kids properly if we're not really listening to them and what they want to do. Absolutely. And it's not about, because I'm against taking out tons of loans. And I'm not having, I'm want to develop kids who have lucrative careers. Yeah. But I think we do have to really tap into what do they want? What are their passions? Because that's what we can leverage in the application process.
Well, can I ask you, what do you do when the student or they're still children, when the child does not really know how to articulate what it is that they want to do? What do you do with that? Because I'm sure you've run into that before, right?
Right. So early on, probably around the 9th grade, and so, for your audience who's listening, you want to start asking those questions, but get them involved in different activities to try out different activities. So freshman year, the summer before and the summer after are really good time to kind of try anything. Okay. So you just try. So if he likes music, kind of whatever, programs are in your neighborhood, in your community, or at the local community colleges, have him try that out.
Okay.
By the sophomore year, you want to start narrowing down kind of the programs to be more specific. So, for example, at the community colleges, Santa Monica College has a really amazing music program and digital media program. So,
well, that's where he is. I don't even know if he knows that.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's actually, community college is actually a wonderful option. It's not a setback for him, as long as the planning is done properly for him. There are many opportunities at Santa Monica College that he could take advantage of. Okay. So that's what I do with students. It's kind of like, it's not just kind of letting them fly everywhere with no direction. It's about letting them try the things that they really love and enjoy, and then have them navigate actual programming and things that can develop those interests. Mm-hmm. And so by the time they're a junior, hopefully they're even taking leadership positions in those activities.
Yeah.
And so that's what I encourage families to do. So, for example, I've had, students I had a student who loved animals. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, well, what are you going to do with a career with animals? But this student loved animals, then volunteered at a veterinarian office, and then developed her own nonprofit to bring awareness to adoptions of animals, and started looking at a program. At first, her dream school was UCLA, but UCLA doesn't have a animal science program.
Yeah, more like UC Davis, right? Like a Davis.
UC Davis does. They have, I think, one of only two veterinarian medical schools in the state.
Yeah.
They have a major in that. So now she's looking at majoring in that at UC Davis. Mm-hmm. So it's about navigating that for your child. But I think you have to start off with what they really want to do and then kind of gear them towards that. So like I said, for your son, he's at Santa Monica College. There are great opportunities there. So it's just about tapping into those programs at Santa Monica College to get direction.
Yeah, it's interesting because at this point, he doesn't even really want to continue. So that's a story for another day.
The thing is, he feels like he's not doing what he really loves to do.
He said it's wasting his time and taking him away from music. So
right. But if we show him that there's programming there, then we can gear him in that direction. And so in regards to the college application, I'm hopefully your viewers know there's different pieces to that. So
let's talk about those.
So, there's the A through G requirements. There's the SAT, ACT, the testing, the standardized testing, letters of recommendations, mostly for the private schools. The UCs don't require letters of recommendations, extracurricular activities, and the personal essay. So it's a lot. But I think what most students and what most families kind of lose sight of, the importance of your extracurriculars and your summers.
Okay.
So, because at the bottom line, we all know that your child needs to have good grades, SAT scores, but the question that always comes is what's going to help them stand out from the thousands of other students vying for that same spot?
Yeah.
What's that wow factor, right? What's going to get the admissions reviewer to look at their application and keep you in that pile of maybe or yes? And that is those extracurriculars. It's those additional activities that you do. And they really are looking for leaders, and they're looking for students with passion. And that's why I bring that up a lot. That's not something I'm just making up. That if they see that your child has a passion for music, for animals, for collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards, for, there's so many things that kids are passionate about. And you hear these stories of these kids getting in with these essays about their passion for, like I said, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And like, how does that happen? Well, first of all, they already have the grades. We already know that a student like that probably already has the grades, the SAT scores, but they're showing the admissions committee that there's something unique about them. And it's about sharing with the committee that you're unique, and that the passion that you have for what you love that you'll bring to the campus. So it's about leveraging that. Also, you have to express that in the essay. Mm-hmm. So the personal essay is so very important in the process to get you.
Yeah. So can I ask you a question about the testing? So for ACT, SAT, do you need to take both, or should they take one or the other?
One or the other, and they can take either. One doesn't weigh more than the other.
Oh, really?
Right. On the East Coast, West Coast, they both are seen equally, but they are slightly different tests.
Okay.
So it's really important for the student to take practice tests in both and see which one they like.
Huh. Okay.
Better. And whichever test they feel that they did a little bit better, the practice test will give you a score, then just focus on that test.
Interesting.
So for most students, they'll get more of experience with the SAT because they'll take the SAT. And the good thing about the PSAT and the SAT, it's through College Board. And after you take the test, you can receive free test prep through Khan Academy.
Okay.
That's a new program. It started, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. And once you take the PSAT and after your SAT, you can link it to Khan Academy and you get free tutoring. It's online tutoring.
Because I think you can get free tutoring even without taking the test, can't you? Isn't it just a free site? I know Jordan used it a couple times.
Oh, yes. You can use Khan Academy for any subject.
Yeah.
For high school classes, for the SAT, even for med school. You can have every single test you can think about. You can go onto Khan Academy and get free testing. It's all video.
That's great.
And you can get that service. So yes, it doesn't matter if it's the SAT or the ACT, either one. And then also, you also have to understand there are other tests your child will probably have to take. So there's the SAT or the ACT. Depending on the major, they will have to add the subject test. So if they're going to like a STEM, science, math, they'll have to take the subject test in math and science. So many colleges require that additional test. Also, if your school is offering APs and you're taking AP classes, you want to take the AP exam. If you don't take that AP exam, it can actually hurt you because colleges are looking to see what you score on that exam, and that's in May. So after you take the AP class, then you take the exam. If you score a certain number on the exam, then you can get college credit, and it looks good on your college applications.
What if you don't score well?
So you have to rely on other pieces of your application because that doesn't look good when you don't score well on the AP exam.
Wow.
It's a placement class. And when they see that you have to be careful when you take APs.
Yeah, I see now.
When I work with them, they're like, well, how many APs do I take? Like, it's I'm going into my senior year. I took 2 my junior year. I got 1A and 1B. My school is offering 5. I could potentially take 5 APs. My recommendation would be don't take 5 APs.
No.
Maybe take 2. 3 look great for college admissions, but you need strong grades and you need to pass the AP exam with a particular score. Okay. Because if you end up not doing well, it will go against you.
Okay.
So you have to be very strategic, very careful, very careful. Don't just take all the APs that's on your school list. Take what you can handle because you should take the AP exam in May and get a good score on it.
Mm-hmm. How much are the letters recommendation? How much are they weighted? And should you be strategic who you ask for letters of recommendations from? I would think yes.
Yes, of course. To be strategic, I don't think that it's a piece of the application. Mm-hmm. But so here's a tip for families or parents guiding your child. When they ask for a letter of recommendation, just don't ask for from anyone. Can you write me a recommendation? It'd be someone who should know them very well, and they should ask, can you write me an excellent recommendation?
Huh?
Because sometimes teachers they're busy and they have a template of their letter of recommendation, and it could sound like everyone else's. And so if a college is reading that, it could potentially, I would say it would hurt you, but it's not going to help you, because they're like, okay, well, not much. There's nothing that this teacher is telling us about this student we don't already know.
Yeah.
You want a teacher who knows your child personally. So that's why it's important, starting beginning of 11th grade, really encourage your child to develop relationships with teachers that they feel comfortable with.
Okay.
Office hours, talk to them, let them know what's going on in their life, get mentorship from these teachers. Let them know that you're in part of these great organizations and you're starting a program or whatever that's going on in your life. Also, you want to create a brag sheet. So on that sheet, and I know a lot of kids have trouble with this. It feels very uncomfortable to create a brag sheet, but they need to. Mm-hmm. And basically a brag sheet is like a condensed version of a resume. It just lists all their accomplishments, their volunteer experience, etc. And so they give that to the teacher. But you really want the teacher to write you an exceptional letter. And also when you ask it that way, it does hold them accountable. They'll reward you, and they're less likely not to write you an exceptional one if they agree to write you one. So you do have to phrase it that way. And if they can't, they'll be honest with you and say, well, you know what, I don't know you very well. Maybe you need to ask somebody else. That does happen sometimes, or they're overwhelmed themselves and they just don't have the time to do it. So you want to develop those relationships really early in regards to the letters of recommendations.
One of the things that you just said that really resonated with me, because I am a relationship person. I mean, I'm fundraising. I believe in building relationships and really solidifying those relationships so that they are lasting. I think when you have a student in high school, as a parent, and counselors should be encouraging students to do this as well, just to really create that line of communication between the student and the teacher. It really is a life skill. It's a life skill that you can take to college. I read an article about how colleges are getting all of these calls from parents still trying to parent from another state because their child doesn't have life skills and they have poor communication skills, and they can't function. So I think a lot of that, seriously, a lot of that starts, in the home and in high school, building relationships with your peers, being leaders in these organizations, and really being able to go to your teacher and have a conversation with your teacher and let them know a little bit about you, find out a little bit about them as much as, is boundary wise, and just learn how to do that in high school. It'll serve you so well in college.
Right. And that's what I was mentioning before. It's a big problem on college campuses with helicopter parents and students not being able to kind of function, especially under stress, because college is very stressful. And we need to equip our kids with those life skills. So other things that you can do, so you guide your child to speak to the teacher. The other thing is anything related to the college app. Typically, the parents will be involved in checking out colleges and setting up tours. There's a transition that a parent needs to be very conscious of in regards to giving the reins to the child. I know it's very difficult, but they need to start making the calls for tours, scheduling tours. You may be the driver, but this is a teachable moment for your child. Also, yes, in the beginning, you'll be involved in tours, but I'm a firm believer in teaching my students to be advocates for themselves and to network. So we build their networking skills. So I advise the parents to help the student call professors, email professors, ask them, can I, on the colleges that they want to attend. So if it's UCLA or USC, that's your dream school, contact the department that you're interested in. Email the professors. What classes are there any classes that they can sit in? And as a parent, if they find a time that they want to go and visit a class, you drop your child off. You have a set point, you meet them at the car, you let them walk into the class by themselves, introduce them to the professor, get the information they need, and then they come back to the car, and then you kind of talk about what happened. Did they get a name? Did they get a number? What was how did they end the conversation? Have that with them. But there's so many opportunities to teach our children those life skills, to speak to people, to make friends. Sometimes we do everything for them, and we have to stop that.
Yeah.
And allow them to do it.
Yeah, and for those of you who have little kids, let them order at the table. Speak to the waiter and order their own food. Like, it starts as early as that, Even if they can't read, you help them figure out what they want, and you help them order their food. And it helps. It starts right there.
And what's so great about teaching them to get on the campus and talk to professors is that they build their own relationships.
Right.
So based on your relationships, your connections, your child is now making connections with people. And it's good content to talk about in the essay. So here they are building a relationship and mentorship with a professor, or have an experience of a physics class on the USC campus. They can talk about it in their personal essay. And then it really resonates to the reader, because they see, wow, this is a kid who's very, independent, is really driven, and makes things happen. And those are the kind of students they want. So.
Yeah, test scores are great, great grades, that's great. But colleges are looking, they say that they're looking for diversity. And they want to know what you're going to bring to the university. Leadership wise, they want to know what you're going to bring to the university as far as your life experiences as a young person, because we've all had them. But how are you able to really, highlight that in your application process and make them want to bring you to the campus to be a part of that community? Because it makes them look good. So it's not, like you said, grades are great. We already know you're smart. We already know you're a great test taker. What else you got? What else you got? I want to ask anybody if they have questions. We have about 8 minutes. And you and I can continue our discussion, but I want to definitely open up the floor for questions in case people have any questions. You guys can just put them in the chat box down below, and we will answer them or input them on the screen for you, so everybody knows what question we're referring to. Let's see, what have we missed? Oh, I have a question. So if there is a parent out there who didn't do all of this stuff, prior to helping their kid get into college. They may have one kid in college right now who may be a freshman or a sophomore in college, and then they have another kid who's not yet ready to go to college, but they will be going soon. They can implement some of the things that you've shared here, but is there anything, because I know you have Sela's in college now, is there any advice you can give to parents who have a new college student?
Once, like, first year?
Yeah, sure.
So, I think that the career piece is that, we're so focused on the academic piece and, the college application process, but we need to start grooming our kids much earlier for career counseling and advice. And my daughter was telling me that there are many opportunities out there, but there are still some seniors, because now's the time that a lot of seniors at colleges now figuring out what they're going to do. Some of them have been offered great jobs, and some of them are struggling. They have no idea what they're going to do because they didn't put any time or thought into it. It's been all school and whatever's related to the college experience, but really haven't utilized the college, the career services. So what I would recommend, if you are a freshman in college, you start accessing career services right when you get to campus. You should be thinking about and working on your career, because the amount of debt students are walking away with is very high. With the average debt is $37,000 for undergrad. So, and you don't want to be in a situation where you're struggling out of college with this huge debt. You went to college for a reason, hopefully to have a great income when you leave, but a college degree is no guarantee of a career. Now, a college degree is a great opportunity for upward mobility. It's the way for upward mobility for most people. So, for lower income to middle income to get a higher income, you have a better chance by getting undergraduate degrees. So it's very helpful. So that would be the number one advice I would have, is start utilizing the career counseling services on campus. And then also accessing tutoring services, Sometimes students feel like, they're not used to that because so many, especially at these really top colleges, all these students were top students at their high schools. They were straight students. You get to college and you get your first C, D, even a fail. That's how college is. It's highly competitive. So we have a lot of students who never experienced anything below an 8.
Yeah.
It really messes with their kind of sense of self. And I saw it when I was at UCLA, and I would see students coming in to the counseling office distraught because they got their first bad grade. And it was such a, that defined them, their grades.
Yeah.
So, I had to teach them kind of those resiliency skills about, okay, well, what are you going to do to get a better grade?
Yeah.
To the world. So I think accessing tutoring, because a lot of students, they don't, they feel like it's a setback, but it's normal. It's normal to struggle in college. College is tough. Get tutoring, and also mental health services. A lot of our students struggle when they get to college. Can be a tough transition. As exciting as it is, it can be stressful. So, that it's okay to reach out for help in the counseling services on campus. So those are things.
And moving into college and living on campus with a stranger as a roommate, that's hard. I mean, let alone being in a new environment where you don't know anybody. You actually have to go in a room, a small box of a room, and sleep in that room with a complete stranger. And that's very awkward for some people. It's very awkward for some people. So those life skills that you're, teaching your kid how to build when they're younger, they really do come into play when you're in situations like a big classroom where it's an auditorium and you're like one of 300 or 400 students sitting in there, and you want to build a relationship with the professor. I mean, that could be intimidating, but it can be done if those skills are being built throughout high school. So I love it. So far, we don't have any questions. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you would like to cover? If not, we'll move on to making sure people know how to get in contact with you. So let me know if we've missed anything before we start the how to get in contact piece.
Just leveraging, your child's kind of gifts and talents, and making sure to nurture those. And the programming. Oh, that's the other thing. In regards to programming, there are some college access programs that start in 8th, 9th grade. So I want families to know, if you have a child who's in the 7th, 8th grade, there are, for example, there's the Johns Hopkins Center for Talented Youth.
Okay.
It's a program for very high achieving youth, but they also have a recruiting effort for more students of color.
Okay.
So if you are a student of color, I believe also a lower income student, they have a scholarship program. And I think the value is about $25,000. You don't actually receive the money, you get it in services. So they pay for your summer programs. They'll fly you to different programs across the country. You have your own private, your own advisor, college advisor who helps you through the college application process. But you have to apply to that in around the 7th or 8th grade. So a lot of these programs start early, these college access programs. Yeah. Also, UCLA has a STEM program. It's called SMASH.
That's what Jordan was in.
So he did that.
Yeah, he did it.
And you have to apply in the 9th grade, right?
Yep.
So I want the families to know that please don't start doing this in 11th and 12th grade. You really want to start early. And if we're talking about getting them to be competitive for like really highly selective colleges. Yeah. So, the UCLA program starts in the 9th grade. So that's the work that I do with students too, is finding them these programs to participate in. So I just want the families to know about those.
Yeah. So let's just talk about where people can reach out to you if they want to get more information and work with you. I have focus1college.com here. That's your website.
Yes.
And what's on your website?
So the website has general information in regards to college requirements. And then I post different scholarships on the website, internships, because those change every year. regarding dates, locations, also fly-in programs.
Okay.
So it's really important to visit the colleges. And there's particular special programming for students of color at some of these private liberal arts schools.
Oh.
And it's called Diversity Fly-In.
Oh.
And, so the list is on my website. And this is actually the season now to start applying for those, and they're for rising seniors. So if your student is a junior now, they should look at that and start writing down the dates of the applications. And the applications are typically from now until the summer, and then the visits are typically in the fall of their senior year. And these colleges, it's either low cost or completely free, and most of them are completely free. And they fly your child out. They pay for their food, their housing. Wellesley College flew my daughter out twice to visit the college, and they offered her a full ride scholarship. But she selected USC because of the major. They had the major that she wanted. So there's so many opportunities out there. So I try to post as much as I can on my website.
Okay. Erica Hatchett says, great information. Fly-in programs are awesome. This is Erica was on the hike with us last weekend, and her daughter's at Barnard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and am I saying that right? Right? It's Barnard, right? It's on the East Coast. It's I think
it's a liberal arts college.
Yes.
Yes.
She's there with some scholarships for sure, and she really took advantage of those fly-in programs.
And those liberal arts colleges are incredibly generous. Please, families, look into those colleges because, I mean, you know, the state colleges are relatively reasonable, but you may still come out with 30, 40,000 in debt. These small liberal arts colleges, you may come out with no debt at all.
That's what you want. No debt. So your information for email is focus1college@gmail.com. Is that it?
That's me.
Okay, so we'll put that on the screen. Hopefully I spelled it right. Focus1college@gmail.com. I'm the queen of typos. So she's at Barnard College in Columbia. Barnard at Columbia. Really great school. So that's how you can reach Yolanda. For those of you who are interested in getting some more assistance, I can tell you, if you are not there yet with your child applying to all of these colleges and universities, it was stressful for me. Maybe it's because my child wasn't as into it as I was, and he was driving me crazy. But luckily, his grandmother is an educator, his grandmother and his grandpa, and they kind of took over for some of that stuff with me and let him come over to their house. They made a schedule and they did a lot of things with him that Yolanda, like what you would do. So I mean, there's no shame in my game. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it with him. So it's very stressful, especially when you've got a kid who's just like not really into it like you are. So I would advise you guys to reach out to Yolanda and see what her services cost. I think it's something that you can't really put a price on, actually, because it's your health, it's your mental health, your sanity, it's your child's education. No,
really quick, what I was going to say, I helped my daughter along the way, but when it came down to her final essay, I didn't read it. I had somebody else read it. I had another professional read it, because I didn't mention that there's a different dynamic when it's your own child.
Sure.
For me to say it, and it would be easier for me to work with your child than it is for you to work with your child.
Sure.
It is, because we got dynamics going on. So with my own daughter, with the final essay, I said somebody else needs to read it. I have too much stuff going in my head. That's my daughter. So they need someone who's objective.
Yeah.
To kind of help them through the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, that is it for today's show. Yolanda, this was a wealth of information. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on. Always a pleasure. And hopefully, people will reach out to you. Now is a great time to do that. Now is the perfect time to do that. Your child's winding down with the semester, rising senior years. There's a lot going on, a lot of things you're tying up. You got your prom, you got all this other stuff. Why not have somebody help you with this application process? That's my suggestion. So thank you, Yolanda.
Thank you, Carla.
Okay, everybody. We'll talk to you next week, same time, same place, right here at the Carla Palmer Show, www.thecarlapalmershow.com. For those of you who are watching the replay, thank you. Also, leave questions if you have any. Yolanda and I will be checking back, looking at the questions in the replay, and we'll be able to answer some of those questions for you. All right, we'll talk to you guys next. I will talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.